Hey everybody, PA here, sitting in my office with my phone in front of me, taping this video for you guys for tomorrow night, for Wednesday night. I'm on my fourth Zoom of the day, and then I'm taping this for you guys, and then I've got 2 more Zooms tonight. Why am I telling you this? So here's why. I want you to know, I've heard from some of our guides that there are some of you who are, when you get to the Zoom for confirmation for Affirm, you're either not logging on, or you're not turning your camera on, or you're not participating at all. So here's my message to you tonight. I totally get it, okay? I totally get that you guys are zoomed out. I'm really zoomed out for today too. But it is the way that we can do what we can do. I mean, it's the way we can have confirmation right now. It's the way you guys can have school. People are having meetings all the time, like me too. And we have to rely on Zoom. So here's the thing. I need you guys to participate. Okay? Let's just be honest with each other and say, yeah, do we like to have everything on Zoom? Not a chance. But we have to do our part, and we have to take responsibility for ourselves. And so I need you guys to participate. Your parents need you to participate, and your guides need you to participate. This is just what we do with each other. We're only asking 30 minutes of you guys once a week for Affirm. And I know you can do it. I totally know you can do it. Here's my thing. I think it's the other device in your hands that's the problem. You got to put down your phones. Okay, I know it because I do it myself, and I see my kids do it as well. You've got to turn off your phone and set it away so that it's not a distraction to you. We can't. Nothing can compete with Snapchat and Fortnite, and that's the bottom line. And I know it. So here's the issue. If you have such a hard time putting away your phone for 30 minutes and not looking at it, you've got a problem with your phone. So everybody, I want you to turn your phone off right now. I want you to put your phone away, and I want you to promise me that it's going to stay away for 30 minutes. You're not going to look at it. You're not going to be tempted to snap somebody back. You're not going to be tempted to do anything else on your phone. And you're going to turn your camera on and listen, because this is super important tonight especially. But what we're doing together, just being together, is super important. You know, you guys are friends with each other, and your guides are giving their time to doing this. And so I need you to promise me to do that. So right now, everybody, please, will you promise me to do that? Turn it off, and let's get to it. Okay, so let's go into the lab. I'm going to take my glasses off, the usual. I know I look kind of stupid, but who cares? I don't. Okay, it's the death penalty. I think you know what it is. I think you know that we've had a history in our country of putting to death over various amounts of time by either a firing squad, or the electric chair, or what's called lethal injection, where they put a syringe in a person's arm and put poison into them that causes them to die. It's just such a terrible thing to think about, and it's gruesome. But we still have that in some places and times in our country. There are some crimes, there are actually 60 different federal crimes for which you could be given the death penalty. Most of them have to do with murder, some form of murder, almost all of them. But if you are a traitor to the country, you actually can get the death penalty. That's called treason, or being a traitor. Or if you are a spy against the United States, you can also get the death penalty. States also, so that's the country, that's federal. States also have different death penalties for different things too. Again, similar charges, mostly murder, rape if a child is involved, and then also what's called felony murder, which means that if somebody gets murdered while a group of people are committing a felony, all of the people in that group, even if they didn't murder that person, could be up for the death penalty. Okay, so you can see this is really gruesome. Right now there are 55 people on death row for the federal death penalty. But what I want you to know is, up until this past July, there hadn't been an execution, a death penalty execution in the United States in 20 years. So all of a sudden, there's been this weird flurry of executions that have been authorized by the federal government, by the administration of the president or the Congress. It's odd because in states, the death penalty has been going down and down and down and down and down, which is really good for many, many years. So right now, state death penalties and executions are at a 20-year low. So this odd rise after 20 years of nothing in the United States for on the federal government side of things, this odd rise of, I think, 13 executions in the last 6 or 7 months is really strange, and we probably aren't going to see that again for a while. So my question for you guys tonight is, how do you feel about the death penalty? And then my second question to you is, if you give an answer to that, and I want you to, if you give an answer to that, have you stepped back just a little bit and thought about why you feel that way? What goes into it? And then I just want to share a few things with you too. So number one is, how do you feel about the death penalty? And let's just do what we normally would do on any controversial topic. Let's put ourselves in the situation. Let's say that you did murder somebody, okay? That's just horrifying to think about, but let's say you did. And you went through the trial process, you were found guilty, and you either could be sent to the electric chair or had lethal injection, poison injected into you till you seized up and died, or you had life in prison, and actually maybe even had the chance to be rehabilitated and get out on parole, okay? So how do you feel about that? Just think about that for a little bit. And then when you kind of come up with an answer, just lay claim to it, and then think about why you feel that way. Is it only out of a sense of revenge, or is there more to it? So here's what I'll tell you. This is good background information. The ELCA, our church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, has a social statement that came out in 1991 called The Death Penalty. It's long. This is just a little summary sheet, and I've given this to your guides. But what I want you to know is that the ELCA is firmly against the death penalty. Primarily, the reasons are these, and it's really two reasons. Nobody knows that the death penalty can be completely issued in the most completely fair way. And here's the example of that. There have been all kinds of people who have gone through a trial process, have had their case reviewed over time, and the actual result of the case has been overturned because new evidence has come out that they didn't do what they were charged with. And they've been maybe sitting on death row for many, many years. Well, wouldn't that be horrible? What if that was you? What if you were charged with a murder? You knew you didn't do it, but the attorneys on the other side brought all kinds of what they said was evidence, but it really wasn't, into the trial. The jury believed it, and next thing you know, they sentenced you to die with lethal injection. But what if you knew you didn't do it and you just cried out for years and years and years, I didn't do this, I'm innocent. And later on, it was discovered that you didn't do it and you were released. What if you had died in the process? See? So there are all kinds of complicating factors there. The second big complicating factor that the ELCA talks about is how justice is meted out. It's carried out unfairly. Particularly on racial lines. It's quite clear, and the evidence shows it, the data shows it, that non-white people, Black, Hispanic, other Latino people, and others don't receive the same kind of justice as white people. It's really clear. And then that oftentimes goes to people with either wealth or not. And everybody knows that wealthy people have a better chance to get better attorneys who are more high-powered, who have a different kind of track record than people who don't have enough money and maybe have to rely on a free public defender. So you really have to think about all those things. What if you were black, charged with murder, didn't have access to an attorney who knew all the tricks, or knew the angles to take that money can buy, or just have that kind of clout? See? So that's a whole different deal. And so the ELCA says, nope, if we know that that justice can't be completely applied fairly to everybody, we don't believe the death penalty is appropriate for anybody. If the death penalty is one option, the other option is life in prison. And those people should stay in prison for the rest of their lives if that's the result of the conviction. Okay? Somebody lives rather than dies. So the ELCA, if you are a Lutheran, theoretically, you should be against the death penalty. At least that's the social statement of our church. That doesn't mean, though, that you can't use your own mind and make up your own mind. But I want you to let this be a guiding piece for you. Finally, the last guiding piece is what comes very early in the Bible. You know what it is. It's the 5th commandment, thou shalt not kill. And what if we go against God on that one? What if we kill people? Even if the charge is already that somebody killed somebody, murdered somebody. What if then we kill in revenge or in return? We're doing not what God wants us to do. I think that one's pretty clear, actually. That's one of the clearest demands of God in the Bible. Thou shalt not kill. And we people who are Christians, followers of the Bible, the Old and New Testaments, we follow that. We ask God about that being our guide, and that's what God gives us. Okay? So I want you to talk about this. This is a good lab topic tonight. Talk about this together. Use the study guide that I am providing you and read a few different Bible verses that are there. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for turning off your phones, for letting this half hour be for your guide, your small group, God, and you and your parents. I respect you for that, and I want you to know that. And I'll respect you all the more if this continues on in a really good way. All right, everybody. See you next week.